Hi, my name is Diana Flores Herrera. I'm Mexican and I currently work in the US.
Okay. Hi, Diana. Can you talk about how it is managed human resources in the US?
It's a very interesting and lengthy process. They try to recruit students when they are in college, so they make sure they recruit the top talent. And depending on the company, they might start when they are like 2 years into college, and they are like making sure that they want to get the best students from the best schools, so they start recruiting them pretty early in the process.
Okay. And when you're already working there, how does human resources treat you, or what are the actions or the activities that human resources implement with the employees?
I would say there are many different things that they do now, but one of the most important ones is having a development plan. So at the beginning of the year, you set your goals, and in that way, like, you know what you want to achieve during the year. So you set your goals, and then you have periodic reviews. And then at the end of the year, you have a self-assessment, and then you do an assessment with your boss, etc. That's one thing among many. Like, they try to support you with medical expenses and like doing all of that.
Okay. And how are your labor relationships, like the work with your work partners?
They're very good. It's interesting because that's probably one of the biggest factors of you remaining at a job, that you have good relationships with the people that you work with, and you have to build those relationships, right? They just don't happen. You actually have to work to build the relationships and maintain them and all of that.
Okay. And how was your recruitment process?
So I received an email through LinkedIn, or a message through LinkedIn, that Mattel was looking for someone that was meeting my characteristics or my work experience, and I started the process with them. It was a couple of interviews, psychological assessment, and a couple of other things.
Okay. And then you had a letter to your offer, or offer letter?
Yes. So that's usually how it works. You go through the interview process, and once they tell you you are the candidate that they're going to move forward with, they give you an offer letter, and that's when you can negotiate. If the offer is too low, you want to like start thinking about like how you're going to negotiate the offer with them. But then once you accept the offer, that's pretty much you are accepting.
Okay.
The position.
Did you negotiate?
I did. I negotiated. Yeah.
Okay.
You have to.
Do you know how are the unions there, or the process?
Yes. So I'm not. In the U.S., there are unions that are specific to a certain field. For example, there is a union for automotive workers, and there is a union for Starbucks employees, for example. And the way that works is that they have an agreement with the companies where they set the benefits that they get. Okay. So I'm part of this union of automotive workers, and I have to get at least, for example, 20 hours per hour, and I have to get X weeks of vacation. So that's the purpose, like to protect the union workers.
Okay. So with the union, you negotiate all those?
Yes. So there was a couple of years ago, there was a union strike in Detroit, which is the automotive hub, because they couldn't negotiate with the three big automotive companies. Okay. So you go back and forth with them.
Okay. And how is managed ethics and responsibility, social responsibility in the company you work?
So the moment I joined, I have to comply with ethics training, which is a couple of hours of examples and different scenarios that you might face. And so yeah, you have to do like yearly training. And what was the other thing?
The social responsibility.
Yes, so that's a big one too. Like, there is a donation campaign that you do a specific time of the year. I think October is donation month. So if you donate some money, they put some money on your behalf, and you can also volunteer, etc. So a lot of different ways.
Okay. Does your work has some type of flexibility or empowerment?
Yes. So there are a lot of groups within Mattel that support, for example, women working in Hispanic, Latino. So there are different groups that you can be part of that will support you in ways that you want.
Okay. And about the flexibility, if we are referring a little bit more about your working hours, or if there's any issue or problem, personal problem, how do they manage that?
So I would say it's very well managed. Like I have the only thing that we always ask for is communication, right? Like if I try to anticipate that I'm gonna be off some days or that I'm not gonna be available X or Y day, just communicate, overly communication.
Okay.
But they're usually pretty flexible and all of that.
Okay. Did you had, like, in your current or your past workplace, some kind of growth in your work? Or I guess you already mentioned that HR gave you a kind of a career plan or a life plan?
Yes, so they gave you the tools, but you actually have to build it, right? You have to say, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And you have to build it, and you discuss it with your boss, and then your boss helps you get different opportunities.
Okay, like helps you find the way.
Yeah.
And how it is managed, the diversity or an inclusion in the company?
I think that goes back to the groups I was referring to earlier. From an HR perspective, they try to fill positions with diverse candidates, right? So they try to find people that meet that criteria. But once you're in, they try to support you through the different groups and trainings and all of that.
Okay. Do they have LGBTQ group?
Yes, there is a LGBTQ group. Yeah.
Okay. And how are the labor laws there?
They are fine. I have to say there is still some work to do, but for the most part they are good. It's unlawful, like it's against the law to discriminate anyone for matters of religion or or gender or if you're a mother and things like that. Like you can easily get compensated if you can sue and get compensated if you go through that situation. There's still a lot of work to do to meet the gender gap pay, but other than that, I think it's getting there.
Okay. And could you give an opinion about your future, talking about work in this country, the U.S.?
I would say there are a lot of opportunities to grow and to go into different paths, but you have to work hard. You have to earn it, right? So I see myself moving forward in my role either in this company or a different one, but I know it's going to entail a lot of work and commitment.
Okay. And to wrap up, what difference do you find between U.S. and Mexico?
I would say that Mexico, it's still low pay for the amount of hours that people work. There was an article recently that compared how countries get compensated, and Mexico is one of the
pretty
worst.
low.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think there is still a lot of work to do there.
Okay. And what do you like more about Mexico, and what do you like more about U.S.?
What I like about the U.S. is that it's very structured. You have a lot of rules, you have a lot of processes, and everything. You have a path. What I really like about Mexico is that you can really make friends at work, which is not very common in the U.S. I think you really get that sense of okay, here are my work friends. They really become
They're
friends.
not just work partners.
Yes.
They're friends. Okay. Okay, thank you for your time.
No problem.